salary and your pension plan.
And that's to all candidates.
To all candidates, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Fitz. I don't recall you being there when I answered this question at the last debate, but like I said a few weeks ago, I'm not doing this for the salary. I don't need the pension plan. I have my own IRA. And I don't need the insurance. I have my own insurance. And I guess that comes with being a sole owner of my firm, but and some of the other candidates may not be in that same position. But for me, I'm not asking for that.
I would say that most of the time it is eliminated. It's eliminated in donations, it's eliminated in dinners, it's eliminated in activities that we have to attend. It's only $250 a month.
As I stated earlier, I attend about 80% of the council meetings and workshops. I do it free.
I wouldn't vote to eliminate it. I would never vote to increase it. But I think what we've got to happen.
When I first got elected, I didn't know there was such a thing as a pension plan here. No, I wasn't one of the original ones that voted for that one. You know, I don't need it either. You know, that's not the big issue, that anyway. The issue is how we want to move forward. Whether we want to keep speculating on what might be, or we start taking care of what is, what's happening here. You know, I think the mayor alluded to the city of Valley. They're in terrible shape down there. And it was because they was all building for what might be. What might be. Now, what is now, they're faced with some terrible choices. Some choices I wish they didn't have to make. And that's the choices I don't want us to have to make 4 years from now. But, sure, you know, I'll give all of that up. But as Sandra said, you usually spend more money than that on getting out and doing your job as being a council person.
Well, I can say this again. Here we go, working people in West Point. You have congressmen working part-time, making $300,000+ a year. You have every representative from Alabama and Georgia making $53,000 a year, and they're in session from January to March, and if they call in special session, they get hotel fees and dinners and whatever for that. And West Point, that has a salary range of 0.1% out of a $17 million budget, and we sit up here and let that be the top issue, and I'll never be able to understand that. The system was set up, I was on the council when I first went on, it's $50 a month. This system was set up for people that, working people, not to participate in the affairs of this city. That's why you have such a low salary in West Point. It was set and it was ran by the privileged few. God bless you if you have that and you can do it. You're doing well and so forth. But I think that if we can afford to have practically every city employee, nobody ever said anything about this. Everybody hired down in West Point has a private vehicle at a cost of $7,000 or $8,000 a year. That's what that costs when somebody furnishes you a vehicle. And some of these vehicles are off your taxpayers' time. Everybody knows that we see them. They're using them for personal use after hours, the Grange to Pine Mountain to Valley to whatever. Nobody says anything about things like this. That's okay as long as the employee benefits. And on top of that, $8,000 we're giving them to furnish them free. The Med Council we get mileage rates. That's what we get. Why can't the employees get mileage rates that come back to the city sometimes 4 times a month for emergency calls, and sometimes nothing, they still get that $8,000 benefit. So what we're talking about, that little 0.1% of this $17 million is minute to me. Let's build some streets and some houses and create opportunity and do something about crime and the real issues that face the city. I feel like working people, if somebody want to give their salary to charity, President Kennedy did it, then I think that's their right. But as far as I'm concerned, our council member has to make phone calls. We go to several places night and day, and it seems to me like that $250 a month wouldn't be the biggest issue in West Point. So I stand behind a council member being compensated. I like the rest of the compensated all over America. Why should West Point be the only town that don't compensate our elected officials? Somebody tell me that. Everybody in the world do it.
Well, I will say this, to answer your question directly, Mr. Fitz, yes, it can be eliminated. And I would support a move to eliminate not only the pension benefits, but also the health care benefits that are at a 100% cost to the taxpayers. Quite candidly, I agree with you that that is not warranted in a city of this size. Quite candidly, even though Mr. Gillum may say that this is a very, very small amount of our budget, it says a lot about one's willingness to serve in this community. Are you doing it for the money? Are you doing it for yourself? Or are you willing to do it because it's the right thing to do and commit yourself to the betterment of this community? Time and time again over the last 4 years, there has been a substantial movement to increase benefits to elected officials. Whether it was an increase in the per diem pay, whether it was the increase to try to double a council member's salary during the worst economic times in our nation's history. We had 2 council members vote to double their salary. Then the council decided to go and double its retirement benefits at no cost to themselves and completely burden the taxpayers. It is a big statement, Mr. Gillum, I believe, that if you are not willing to serve because you don't get paid, it says a lot about what you're willing to do for this community. So, Mr. Fitz, if I'm reelected, I will absolutely lead a charge to eliminate the retirement package and the health care benefits. Thank you.
My name is Doug Shoemate, and I'm a business owner and property owner in West Point. First and foremost, Drew, Don, Darren, Sandra, and any of the other city council members in the room, thank you for what you guys have done the last 4 years. I think it's been a great job. Small town that had the opportunity, and the way y'all handled it collectively was phenomenal. My question, you're either going to continue to grow or you're going to die the same way the business is. My question is to every one of the candidates, and this is the key part, in 5 words or less. Okay, what is the one thing that you talk about? How do we get those we got to get those 500 people, those extra kids. What's in 5 words or less to each of you? What is the one thing in the near term, less than 2 years, that we can do to accomplish that growth and make our community, which basically we're selling a product. Anybody who wants to move here, to make our product better. Hold on, Rudolph. That is my question. I get it, Tim. And what is the one thing in 5 words or less we can do in that next 2 years to improve our marketability for people?
And there is a point of order. 5 words or less, you can take 3 minutes, or you can make it more interesting than that. The rules allow 3 minutes for an answer to each candidate.
Doug.
1.
I'm going to follow Mr. Densmore's lead and probably take more than 5 words on this. We have a game plan that we have developed. It is our redevelopment plan, and it is the key to the success for the next few years in this community. The city council has already authorized the expenditures, if we're successful in the passage of the splosh vote, to commit those dollars to recreation. That is something that the city of West Point will do. It is something that Troup County will do and match those funds. So we are clearly on our way, and we're clearly on the path to success there.
I stick by my plan, Mr. Mayor, that you just mentioned. I still think that we need a reduction in our tax millage, which would be attractive to any potential developer, be it houses or be it businesses. I think that would be a long way to go. And, how do you fund that tax? How is that